Okay, so this series has been a long time coming. The work that has I have taken to get to this point, I should be praised. So I wanted to start watching Rascal Does Not Dream of Buddy Girl Senpai for a long time, and I was about to watch it, but then I saw that the audiobook had come out, and I went, "Oh, maybe I'll listen to the audiobook first." So that's what I did. I listened to the audiobook of the first book, which I found out was like the first season adapts the first 5 books. So I listened to the audiobook for the first book, and I'm like, okay, it's all right. By the time I finished, the audiobook for the second book was out, so I listened to that one. Um, I reviewed all the books, by the way, on Twitter, so you can go on Twitter, X, whatever. It'll be in the link to the description. And then I decided, you know what? I've listened to the first two. I'm just gonna read the books and then I'll watch. That's what I've done. So I then went out and I have bought the other books and I listened to the audiobook as well, of course. Uh, and that's what I've done. So I've read books 1 through 5, and now I watched the show. I watched the show in about a week, and I gotta say, man, I loved it. Uh, of course, I'm coming across that none of this is gonna be shocking for me. I know everything that's about to happen, and I still loved seeing it because that's the point of an adaptation of a book is now seeing these moments that you have imagined in your head and read come to life, be acted out and come to life in some form or fashion. That's what makes a great show. And that in turn will make you like the show more because now you're like, okay, now I know if I don't feel like wanting to read the book again, I can just put on the show and it's a lot quicker and I know I'm getting everything. So, from an adaptation standpoint, I was super happy because pretty much everything was from the books was adapted. Not everything, there's some stuff I noticed where it's like, oh, they cut that out, but it's like none of the super important scenes were cut out. Maybe one scene in one of the books was cut that I'm like, hey, wasn't that supposed to be there? I realize why they've cut it because we're probably gonna get that in the movie. um, and the ending is, of course, different than what book 5 was, but I understand that because this is a show, and don't know if you're getting a season 2, so we got to end it on a closed ending, so we could be somewhat happy here, right? Take notes, Young Justice. Um, so I very much appreciated that, and I was fine with that closed ending because I know there's gonna be more anyway. But at the time, I know for like the show ended, and for the longest time there was nothing. And now they've just decided each book gets a movie. So overall, what do I think about like the plot of the show? I love this plot of adolescent syndrome affecting people. It's very down to earth and very grounded with that tiny bit of supernatural element of the adolescent syndrome of like, now there's two people there because she can't decide what she's going to be, or the sisters swap bodies, or the day keeps repeating over and over again because they dread what's going to happen next. Like there's stuff like that for the supernatural element, but the main core of the problem is just teenagers in life. And as a teen, I understand it, and I think anyone can. It's a character story, and if you just have good characters, you can make them do anything. Like that's what good characters do. Like Sword Art Online, for example, I can literally, while playing the video game, they're doing nothing. They're just eating food, but the interactions are so fun with the characters that I can just sit there and see them do it forever. That's what good characters can do, and that's what the show does. But it has a cool element of trying to figure out, get to the problem. Why is this adolescent syndrome happening? Okay, we know why it's happening. What can we do to solve it? And it explores whatever said person. It explores their life, their problems, all that stuff. So, I I also loved the ending. By the way, this is like an aesthetic from the show that the ending is the same, but Depending on the book, a different girl sings it. I like that. I didn't notice that at first. That's something that I had to look up. So overall, Rascal Does Not Dream. It's a fantastic series, and I recommend people get into it. You can do like what I did, listen to the audiobooks, read the books, or but if you don't want to do any of that and you just want to get it over with quick, the show, I'm so happy to say, is a perfect way to experience the journey and still get it. Which you don't get a lot now of adaptations of things where they make all these changes and it's awful. I'm looking at you, Wheel of Time, Rings of Power, any DC Marvel product in the past like 5 years. But that's my review. I think Rascal Does Not Dream, the show, I give it a 9 out of 10 because it was good. It's good, right? But because it is faithful to the source material, that makes it even better. So 9 out of 10 for me. Absolutely recommend. So if you've seen the show, books, whatever, what do you think? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you next time.